It's May the 4th, and as a Star Wars fan, I'm always eager to find new Star Wars games to play, and since there are no new Star Wars games to play, but instead old ones that are being re-released onto recent consoles, I'm going to have to make the most out of those instead. I haven't played Republic Commando yet, but what I have played is a game based off the worst movie of the second worst trilogy of the best franchise ever made. Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer. But before we start, leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Now when I first downloaded this game, there was one question that raced through my head. Can I play as Jar Jar Binks? And as I flicked through the list of what looked like randomised names, I saw that was not the case. If you haven't already saw, the graphics, not so good. If I can be honest, the cutscenes made me want to claw my own eyes out. But once you get going and you reach the high speeds of the pod racer, then you can't really notice the bad graphics of the game. I mean, you do notice, but it's easy to detach away from it and focus on what you're doing. And speaking of the gameplay, I'm actually quite surprised by how smooth it is to play. I'm not a big racing game fan, mainly because I find that recent games feel quite stiff, but I liked how in this game the pod racer is very nimble and quite responsive, which is good to see from a game that looks like utter shit. I was also very impressed at how many different tracks there are in the game until I realised that they're all just copy and pasted into other circuits but made longer, which isn't a huge problem, but when your races are reaching the 8-minute mark and nothing has happened for 90% of it because you're faster than the AI, then it gets a bit boring. I'll admit I struggled on my first playthrough of this game. Notice how I said first playthrough because I completely messed up the upgrading on my pod racer and I wasted all my money on parts from the shop. And there's only a finite amount of points that you can actually have, so I end up on the final circuit and couldn't keep up with anyone because I didn't have the best gear. But on my second playthrough, I only bought from the scrapyard and let my droids repair it so that I could sell it back to the merchant for way more money than it's worth.
The best I can do is 2,000, period.
What, you think you're some kind of Jedi waving your hand around like that? My trick's gonna work on me.
A quick little tip as well, when starting a race don't forget to switch the options to the winner takes it all option. Mainly because you get more for winning, plus you need to get first place in all the races for a trophy, so either way, you need to come first. Upgrading your pod is definitely vital to gameplay, not only to be faster than your enemies, but there are jumps in some of the maps that if you're not fast enough, then you'll simply just not make the jump. Which can cost a lot of seconds off the clock. And the worst part is you won't even know if a jump's coming until you're already halfway down a gap. On the flip side to that, the Final Abyss race has a massive you to fast drivers at the very start of its race. This corner right here. If you're even a fragment faster than slow, then you'll fall off the track. But that isn't the worst part. Instead of just dying and respawning so you can carry on, you fall off onto a track below and have to carry on the race on a longer track, which puts you in 7th nearly instantly, which makes it impossible to catch up and win. The only advice that I can give is to basically stop at the corner and gently go around it. If you've got a fully upgraded pod racer, then you should be able to catch up really easily. If you skim the trophy list, you'll notice that the majority of the trophies just ask you to unlock characters, which just involves you winning races, which you should be doing anyway. Other notable trophies that are fairly easy are reaching 1,000 miles per hour, performing a boost start, taunting someone. It's all pretty standard stuff that you'll have no problem with doing. There are 3 character specific ones. One is to fully repair your pod racer from Warning to Sable, playing as Anakin Skywalker, win a race as Sebulba, and to take out 10 enemies with Sebulba's weapon, which by the way is useless. It's this small little blast that comes out from the side and you have to get so close to the other enemy for it to be effective that you're basically breaking social distancing rules. The final thing that I did was to complete a mirrored race, but I wasn't going to do any of those 8-minute races. I was happy with the first Tatooine race, which lasts about 3 minutes. Overall I thought the game was okay. I liked it at first, mainly because the music is so good that it put me in a nostalgic trance, so I didn't even notice that most of the races are too long and that the game looks aesthetically bad. I will say that the controls were easy, and if it wasn't for the stupid low gravity sections where you have no idea what's going on so you end up crashing into a piece of debris, I'd say they were great. As far as getting the Platinum Trophy goes, I can recommend it as an easy one, but only if you know what you're doing going in. I hated having to restart the game from the beginning because I ran out of money, so maybe have a guide on hand. Overall, it took me 7 hours to get the Platinum Trophy for Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer, but you can definitely cut that in half. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thanks for watching, and may the 4th be with you. Oh cool, it has first person mode.
Oh, shit.